Hello, wonderful strangers. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over the cast for Big Brother 25. We're up to 25 seasons of this godforsaken show here. I feel like I want to make this channel a bit more reality TV oriented as a whole. It obviously, it kind of always has been, but I do think I want to really just, kind of geek out and do my fandom for basically all these different television shows a bit more, and just talk about, and give the variety, so to say. Drag Race is always going to be the main focus, I feel, but I would be remiss if I didn't make this video for y'all. So we're just going to be going over the cast for this season, talking about their chances, faves, least faves, thoughts, feelings, opinions, etc. And this video will be coming out, I believe, on Wednesday, which is the day the premiere happens, because they only gave us the fucking cast 24 hours beforehand. Last year was last year was 24 hours beforehand. This year it's 48 hours. So, we're living life of luxury, apparently. But yeah, we're gonna see. Hell, this might not even be the cast by Wednesday. I don't fucking know, but it's the cast now, so we'll see. Okay, so our first contestant is America Lopez, who is a medical receptionist from Brooklyn, New York. I really am super high on America Lopez here. I think she's gonna do an amazing job. I really do see it for her. She is an Ivy League graduate. I couldn't find exactly what school she graduated from. She never mentioned it in one of the few interviews that was released and stuff today, if I can recall. But obviously she's very smart. She got into an Ivy League school, graduated with a degree from it. Very intelligent lady here. And it seems like she's a pretty damn big fan of Big Brother. Big Brother is really one of those games where you gotta be a fan of it in order to succeed, I feel like. I mean, there's some people who I feel like with Big Brother almost, as of recent, it is a very, competition heavy kind of show at this point. So if you are really just that much of a fucking beast at competitions, then you really don't have to be that big of a fan. But being a super fan of the show gives you a great advantage coming in. And as far as we can tell, America is a pretty big fan of the show, so I think America Lopez is going to do super well here. Okay, next up is Blue Kim, who is a brand strategist from New York, New York. Now, I love her personality so much already. She seems amazing, and it is pretty widely speculated as of now that she was an alternate for the season, because the interviews that we got today did not have her in the same space as the others. Everyone else is in the diary room, whereas she was just against a blank wall. So it's, I feel like it's safe to assume that she very recently was added to the actual cast, and she was an alternate before then, which is crazy because I feel like she's a great character, and I'm kind of shocked that she wasn't an immediate pick for them when they had whittled it down to this. She did mention, this is something I'm worried a little bit about for her. She did mention that she did not want to mention that she was a brand strategist, because she thought that people would take the strategist portion of that and just run with it. But it's girl, a brand strategist and Big Brother strategy. I literally almost said Survivor strategy. And Big Brother strategy really just that. Those aren't the same thing. I just don't see that being an issue for you, saying you're a brand strategist. And also, if you really do feel like that is a big issue, say you're a brand manager, say you're a brand consultant, just change the word to something that is not your actual title, but still denotes the same or similar work, that you can still talk about it. People try to go into the Big Brother house and lie about their job all the time, and it's just not worth it. It's really not. The thing that you're doing day in and day out, you're gonna lie about is just crazy, what we're gonna see later, lying about your sibling also being on a reality show, that's an easier lie to deal with. If you're gonna lie about your job, make it a job that you also have or have previously had. I don't remember what she said she was gonna do, but as far as I can remember, it was something that she hadn't done, unless I'm just completely wrong about that. So, like, that doesn't seem good for her, but I do feel like she is a great character and she has a great head on her shoulders. And, like, I guess, like, again, while they're, like, not the same thing, I feel like, you know, being a brand strategist could help in terms of, like, you know, trying to think, just the thought process of knowing creative ways to maneuver around a situation and find a solution, I definitely think can, like, apply. So I really like Blue Kim, and I hope that she does really well. Next we have Miss Bowie Jane. She is a barrister, aka a lawyer, or a judge. I think it's a lawyer. 99%, it's a lawyer. I don't know why I thought judge for a second. And she's also a DJ. And so I think she's a really good head on her shoulders in terms of actually playing the game, as it seemed from her videos and everything. It seemed like she really had a good idea about, you know, the strategy and what she wants to try and do, wanting to try and get herself integrated into a big alliance early on, and kind of, you know, ride the middle of it, essentially, is kind of the vibe I got from her, which, like, if you can pull it off, if you can get in the group but not be the face, that's, like, always a good situation for you early on, so I hope she can do that for her own sake. She's also originally from Australia. I forgot if I just mentioned that. Did I? I don't remember. Oh well. If I did, then oopsie daisy. But she's also trying to lie about shit that really doesn't matter. Obviously she should lie about the lawyer thing. Just say you're a DJ. That like, you know, that's also an actual job you have that'll cover it. It's fine, I feel like, for her. But she did want to lie and say that she was 34 instead of 45. She honestly, she could lie that she's 34. If she told me she was 34, I would believe it. Like, she's a very youthful face. She looks great. But I just don't know why she would lie about that. I mean, I understand, like, the sentiment against older players in Big Brother. If you don't know, it is nearly impossible to get, you know, deep into the game if you're one of, like, the oldest contestants in the house, typically. But I think with this season, there is another contestant that's 45. We have a 37-year-old. There's a woman that we're going to be getting to in just a minute who's 63. I just don't see that being as much of an issue for her. And, like, I really don't. And also, lying about your age is hard, because then you have to scale when everything happened in your life based off of that new age, and apply that to every conversation you have about your childhood, your past, you know, life experiences. You have to apply that to literally everything, and that is so hard to do. Also, like, a 11-year gap, trying to stitch everything to an 11-year gap. And also, you're cutting off years. Where are you putting that extra shit you did? What years are you putting those in, you know? Like, it's so hard to lie about your age on Big Brother. It's just not a good idea. It really isn't. But besides that, she seems like she's a good head on her shoulders for the game, and I hope she does well for it. Next we have Cameron Harden, who is a super fan, I'm pretty damn sure. He's applied like 6 times, so congratulations for him for getting on. Who knows, maybe 6 times the charm will be for me for Survivor. What was this? Oh my god, I just applied for the 5th time for Survivor. God damn. Oh my god. I'm not old, but I'm getting old. Damn shit, man. Anyways. Okay, he seems like he's gonna be good at the game. He's very quiet. He's a quiet individual, which, like, you need the balance. You need loud people, you need quiet people, but I'm slightly afraid he's just gonna, like, fade early on, and then he's just not gonna be aligned super well, and he'll be an easy target. I do see that as being a slight fear for him, but regardless of that, I feel like in terms of actual gameplay, he's gonna be fine, you know? Like, I just don't see him doing a bad job if he's actually, like, if he's in a good position, he'll do a good job, for sure. Is it just, like, will he be in a good position? But he's kind of, I really didn't get much from him other than that, like, he's a dad and he's a super fan. That's really kind of all I got. I like, I just, I wish I got more. And I mean, hopefully we'll get more from him. Okay, next is Corey Wurtenberger, which I'm 99% sure. I just realized his name does not have an E, and Corey is just Cory. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I accidentally spelled it wrong. My bad, Corey. But Corey here, if you're a Survivor fan, is the brother of Zach Wurtenberger from Survivor 42, who was the first out of Survivor 42. So there's a chance for something so funny to happen here, which is Corey being the first out of Big Brother. Because then you just know it's like a curse. Or you just know that you're not good at it. I mean, those are really the two options. But he's 21. He's the youngest contestant on the season. He's a student. I don't know what his like major in college is. But, you know, I think he's the first. He might be the first Big Brother contestant that's younger than me, now that I think about it. Damn, yeah, because I'm 22. I don't think anybody else was 21 last year, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that, but regardless. Corey, he's actually very funny, which is great for him. I think he can make the other contestants laugh. I think he's going to do a good job with that. I do think the age might be to his detriment. He did say he was not going to lie about it, though. He said that he's going to be fully honest about, like, all the aspects of his life. I don't know if that includes his brother, you know, being on Survivor, but he said he's going to act very honestly in the game while also, you know, like, you know, playing Big Brother. Like, you have to lie, cheat, and steal on Big Brother, but he said he's going to act very honestly, and he is a super fan. He watches the live feeds. I don't have the patience for it, but I do keep up with the updates every day on Twitter. I get my like 10-minute scroll in, so I'm like a Spark Notes live feeder. That's basically what it is, I feel like. So Corey here, like, I definitely think is gonna do, I think he's gonna do a good job for sure. I would be shocked if he did a bad one. If he does a bad job, I hope he gets last, just because it'd be funny. But you know, we might also get the Natalie and Nadia Anderson situation from Survivor, where Nadia gets the first out and then Natalie wins. We could get that this time where Corey just gets to the end and wins. I feel like the destiny requires one of those two things to happen, so I hope it does, but obviously I hope it's the get to the end part of it, because I do think he will do a good job to get to the end, honestly. But we'll have to see about it. Okay, next up is Felicia Cannon, or I think she pronounced her name as Felicia, so I'm gonna say that for here. I don't know if that's just like an accent thing or if that's actually how her name is pronounced, but for the sake of trying to be respectful, I'm gonna pronounce her name as Felicia. She is 63. She's the oldest woman to ever be on Big Brother, the second oldest contestant to ever be on Big Brother. After Jerry in season 10, who was like 75 when he was on Big Brother. I looked this up earlier. I'm pretty sure he was 75. I fucking love her. She you know, like, there was so much talk, especially preseason, like of a week ago on Twitter, as I was like looking at it, of people, multiple different people being like, we need an older woman. Because usually what happens in Big Brother is that you're hard pressed to find contestants like over 40, and 90% of the time they're men. But this season we got 3 contestants over 40, 2 of them are women. So a definite thumbs up here for that. I don't know if she's actually going to be good at Big Brother, but I really am excited to see her play it. She could go early. That would be sad. I don't want it to happen, but I just don't think from what we saw of her that she has the utmost knowledge and game sense to really drive it far in the game and win it. But I do think, you know, she's a very logical person, it seems. She's a good, like, head on her shoulders. She's not going... If she does go early, it's not going to be due to her own mistakes, I feel. It's going to be due to her being seen as somebody from the other side that's expendable due to her age. But I also don't see her making it to, like, the very, very, very end. So I guess I see her being somewhere in the middle if she can, you know, escape the fate that tends to happen for older contestants on Big Brother, which again, I really hope she does. Okay, next up is Hisham Gweli. I looked up trying to pronounce his name. I couldn't find his name actually with that exact spelling, so I taken my best guess based off of what I found. So apologies if I pronounced his name wrong. He is a geriatric physician, so he's obviously smart. He's got that medical degree. He's also gay, which, you know, we love on this channel. And he, I think he obviously enjoys Big Brother. He obviously like wants to play the game, and he's gonna like try his best to win it, but his strategy seems a bit overblown, in my opinion. He mentioned this like, you know, I'm gonna get a ride or die, and then we're gonna each control like a side of the house, and, you know, try to make it so that no side has too much power, and then we're gonna get to the end together. And it's like, okay, that's just never gonna happen, my guy. Like, why are you going in with this idea? I don't see it for literally anybody ever. It's not gonna happen. And he seems to be a bit of a loud presence, or not a loud presence, because there was in some portions of like his interviews, like looking at stuff where he was like, he seemed a little bit overbearing, not gonna lie, but he also seemed like he could be very tame. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be more when he gets in there of like, is he too much or is he okay? Like, that's just gonna be a question that has to be answered at a later date. But I don't know if he's gonna necessarily start on the best foot if he tries to get that strategy going off immediately. But if he can go in there and assess it and figure out an attack plan, I do think he's going to do a great job. Okay, next we have Izzy Gleicher, I think, from New York, New York. Professional flute player, which, I mean, love that. My sister played the flute. That's literally my only connection I have to fucking flutes. That's probably the only time I've fucking seen a flute in real life. I don't know. She is gonna be a lot, and I'm here for a lot. I like it as like an entertainment perspective when people can be a bit overbearing on these shows. It isn't going to be good for her game. I don't think. It really never is great for people's games. I mean, once in a while it is. You got like Josh from BB19, who like that actually kind of it didn't. Well, I don't know if it helped, but it didn't hurt. So, you know, it might be a detriment to her game, but she claims to be a super fan and says that she's watched every season at least once, most twice, since January of this year, which I just don't believe. I really don't. They're like 35 episodes a season or something. There's no way. I just don't see it. She must have been watching him like 2x speed, got him fucking like playing while she's asleep and missing episodes or something. That's the only way that is like possible, I feel like, for just like a reasonable person to do, you know? I've seen like a decent amount of like, I don't know, distaste. I don't want to call it hate, but, you know, for Izzy online and stuff, and I just really don't really get it. I guess because like Izzy is, I'm not being insulting when I say this. I swear I have a point. Izzy is like a very typical like excited, overwhelming gay, and which I am too. That is why I say I don't mean it out of like malice or anything, because I am that. I see that. And you just kind of gotta deal with us. That's just kind of how it rolls. I wouldn't do good on Big Brother. I think I do okay on Survivor. I would not do good on Big Brother. And so I am a bit worried for Izzy. I do feel like Izzy's gonna end up being too much for the other house guests, and Izzy might leave early on, sadly. But I do still really like Izzy, and again, for all these contestants, I hope that she does well for her sake and that she finds her own footing. Okay, next up is Jag from Omak, Washington, which I looked up Omak, Washington, because I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. It has like 5,000 people in it, so we love that. We love casting people from like small towns on our reality shows. At least I love it. It's just because it provides so much variety. I've seen so many 25-year-olds from Los Angeles on on every show I've watched, you know? I've seen it, I know it, I feel it. Same with New York, same with fucking just anywhere in Florida. Like there, I've seen it, you know? And so I'm not unhappy to see it again, but it's happy when instead of getting another one, I get Jag from Omak, Washington. So he seems like he has a good game sense for sure. I really see that for him. He did say he was going to lie about his job, which raised a bit of a red flag for me because, like, why are you lying about being a truck company owner? That to me does not ring any like red flags for Big Brother. If you mentioned that like you were a lawyer, then I would be like, oh, I think I have to like watch out for that person a bit more for sure. But truck company owner just doesn't give that same thing to me. Like just like any like small business owner does not give me the vibe of like, oh, I need to be worried about them because that's their profession. I just don't see that. But he did say he was gonna mention other jobs as his job, which he I think has done or is also doing. So that's good for him. You know, if you have a plan, you can keep it up. Good for you, dude. And it seems like, again, like I think he's a pretty big fan is what it seemed to be. I did see, he had a picture, or a Brett? Fuck, I don't remember his name. I really don't remember from Big Brother from Big Brother 23. Jag went and took a picture with him, like, you know, after the season was airing, because he, you know, saw him as a fan. So like he's like been a fan for at least a couple of years. It seems like he has a very good game sense. While I am still iffy about why I lie about the job, I feel good about Jag. Also, he's the first Sikh man to compete on Big Brother, so we love that. Okay, next is Jared Fields, who, if you know Survivor, you would potentially know is the son of Cirie Fields, aka one of the most amazing Survivor players of all time. I mean, I one of the most beloved. I was like, amazing? I don't know. Because, like, yeah, she's an amazing player, but, like, is she making the Mount Rushmore? For me, maybe, but it's debatable. Beloved is a for sure top 4. You know, she's for sure on the Mount Rushmore there. Jared mentioned that he was a fan. I don't think he was a super fan, but like definitely a fan of the show. And obviously having Cirie from Survivor as a mother definitely gives you a bit of a advantage on like knowing how to survive in these social strategic games. He's also an exterminator, which is a fun job. Not fun as in like I want to be an exterminator, but fun as in it's refreshing to not get like 12 out of the 16 contestants with like random corporate jobs, because that I feel like that happens a lot. Like exterminator is interesting, you know. So I feel good for Jared. I really do feel good for him. Okay, next up we have Kirsten. She's a molecular biologist, which she did say she was going to lie about. Which I think she said she was going to say she was a swimsuit designer instead, if I'm correct. Which I just don't like. She might have done that, and if she did, then I feel much better about that lie for her. But like, if you didn't, then why the fuck are you saying that? What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense to me. I for some reason am not very high on Kirsten. She doesn't seem to be a big fan of the show. She said she had watched it when she was a kid and had recently gotten back into it, as far as I remember, which in terms of this cast is definitely like bottom 4, I would say, in terms of like, you know, just show knowledge. So like, in terms of like the things that I feel like go against somebody going in, which is not having as much knowledge, lying about something you really don't need to lie about, like those are two kind of like things that are against her that are really against nobody else on this cast. I mean, some of them, a lot of people have one of those, but she's the only person off the top of my head that has 2. So I don't see this for Kirsten personally, but I hope she proves me wrong. Okay, next up we have Luke Valentine, who is an illustrator from Florida. Luke is, I just don't, I think he's a slightly bigger fan of the show than like Kirsten that we just had, but it doesn't seem like he's like, as far as I can remember, because this is a lot of information that's just recently entered my brain. He wasn't like the biggest fan, so I don't. In terms of like actual game knowledge, I would assume he's in the lower half, and I don't. I just don't get the vibes from him that he's really gonna go in there and like win. He did mention that he kind of wanted to like act as a himbo, which like I like, can work for him if he can keep it up, but can he keep it up? Because he did like, you can't, like, you have to, it's hard to act as a himbo. You kind of just have to be a himbo, you know? So I really, on the same level of like Kirsten that we just mentioned, I just don't see Luke doing particularly well here, but he is, I do actually really like him, and he's an illustrator, and I saw this post online. I don't know if it's actually him or not. I mean, it was a piece of art tagged Luke Valentine, so I'm like, I'm assuming, because I'm assuming there's not a great amount of artists named Luke Valentine out there. But it was like devil illustrated, like, hentai. I as far as I can remember. So that fact alone, if that was in fact drawn by this man right here, makes me absolutely obsessed with it. I just think that's so, like, the juxtaposition is so entertaining to me, and the fact that he's just drawing this hentai for us. Why don't I said us? It was boobs. I don't really pay attention to the boobs, but I just I think I think he's gonna be entertaining. I'm gonna stop talking myself into this corner. Okay, next up is Matt. He is a Deaf Olympics gold medalist. I could not fit Deaf Olympics in there without, making it 2 lines, and I didn't know how to shorten anything else, so I was like, okay, I'll just mention it. And he's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is, we haven't had Louisiana in a while, I think. I think of Louisiana and Big Brother, and I just think of Rennie. Like, I just think of her. But Matt, it seems to actually be a fan of the show, and he is hard of hearing. As far as I'm aware, that is correct and good technology. What, technology is not the right terminology. I don't know why the fuck I said technology. As far as I'm aware, that's correct terminology to use. If it's not, please let me know in the comments. But I actually really think Matt has good chances. I do think he definitely gives me like yassified Tyler Crispin vibes. Where like he's obviously gives similar energy. He's like he's a swimmer. He's got a similar build, and kind of like attitude, but he seems a bit lighter, and he's gonna really kind of have fun with it. And it's kind of like the angel and devil on your shoulder, in my opinion, and the angel seems to be Matt, and the devil seems to be Tyler. Who knows? That could be swapped. I might find out that I'm just completely wrong, but that's the vibe I get. So I'm down here. I'm down for Matt. I'm down to see what he's gonna fucking do. Okay, next up we have Nicole Hayes, who is a political consultant, which is I'd say a good job for Big Brother. Along with lawyer and other stuff, if you're gonna, have some of that knowledge of which to bring into the game. And she's from Upper Marlboro, Massachusetts. She said she's gonna play like a politician, and I'm so excited to see it. I really think Miko's gonna do well. I do see it for her. I think that she is going to be able to run between groups and just kind of, I think she's gonna be able to be good and in with everybody, and it seems like she has enough game sense and is good enough at just being able to tell these certain things and define her strategy that I feel like she's gonna do pretty well. It doesn't seem like she's a big fan of the show. It seems like she's in like the camp of like has seen a few seasons. I think she actually mentioned like, with kind of getting more into it and, being encouraged to apply through Xavier and Taylor winning. So I kind of get the vibe that she is like seen seasons 23 and 24 and has maybe gone back in preparation and seen some more seasons. So while she is probably on the lower end of the most like knowledge of actually seeing the show, I have her pretty decently high on actual like win potential. I see it for her. She said, again, she said she's gonna play like a politician. She said she's gonna like kiss your babies in your face and then stab you in the back, which is a weird, almost I think is a weird thing for a political consultant to just like say that. But the fact that she did gets my hopes high for her for sure. Okay, next is Red Utley from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Now, Red is a TikToker. I learned he has like 500,000 followers on the talk. And I also found out earlier today that his wife, who we just had a baby with, is like the same age or a year older than me. And I'm 22. So, yikes on that. I found out they were dating when I think they started dating when she was 19 or 20. So, everything was legal, thank God. But still bad, still weird, still weird that, the power dynamic, not good. Red is also in the camp of, I believe, of Kirsten, of, I think, similar level of show knowledge, of, watching it a bit growing up, seeing a bit more recently, and that kind of being it. So in terms of game sense, I don't feel particularly good for Red. He does seem like the type who will be good at the social game. I do see that for him. But the question for Red is, can he overcome his lack of kind of experience with it? He also mentioned that he didn't want to say he was in sales. I forgot about that. I forget exactly what he said he was going to mention as his job. Which, like, sales is, I understand, like, the stereotype of being, like, a shady salesman and, like, trying to, like, swindle somebody. But is anybody gonna see Red and think that he's gonna be the type to try to swindle somebody? No, I don't think anybody's gonna think that for him. So I think it's just, like, needless worrying and acting and trying to lie about something that really doesn't need to be lied about. So, like, while I think he will socially do a great job, I just don't see a scenario where Red wins. I don't. I really don't. Okay, last but not least is Riley Smedley, who's a bartender from Nashville. She's originally from Maine, which might be a first. I don't know if it's a first for Big Brother, but love that. If it is a new state, then that's great. More from different parts of the country, very nice. Riley said she comes from a family of Big Brother, like, obsessed fans. Like, it was passed down to her essentially, every summer growing up was Big Brother summer. So I think that's good for her. I don't know if that specifically means that, like, she is, like, a super big fan, or if she just has that kind of backstore, I guess, of knowledge of Big Brother going with her. I think it is good either way. I think, having that kind of, I guess, more like innate, not innate, but I feel like, having learned kind of about the Big Brother strategy and stuff like that when you're like 8, but not having it like a stay for a while, I feel like it can be good, and like just as good as being like as watching, seasons, obsessing it every summer for the past few years nowadays. I feel like the knowledge transfers over from time. So I don't immediately scoff at that. And it seems like she actually has a defined strategy going in. She really talked about the strategy like she knew what she was talking about. And I could see it for her. I was like, okay, she really has thought about this. So I hope for her sake that she does well here, because she also seems pretty entertaining as well. So looking at all the contestants, the 4 who I feel the best about winning the season are Blue, America, Corey, and Jag. Those are the four that my hopes are the highest for, and just what my gut gravitates towards as like I think they'll do well and I hope they'll do well. So we'll see about that. But I really do love this cast. I mean, I feel like the stereotype of like Big Brother casts is you get like 8 to 10 like pretty age 21 to 30 white people, and then you get like a couple of older people, some token people of color, and then a couple of like geeks mixed in, and then you're done. I feel like that's kind of like what the stereotypical Big Brother cast is. But this season we only have like three like stereotypically like pretty 21 to 30 white people, and one of them is deaf. So like this season is pretty damn diverse, honestly, um in terms of like Big Brother casting. So I'm very excited to see what the fuck happens here and see who comes out on top, because I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a doozy of a season in the best possible way, and I'm really excited to see that. So, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you wish. Leave your thoughts, feelings, and opinions down below. As always, I will leave my Twitter link down below if you want to go follow me on there. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, take care. Bye-bye.